Welcome to Archangel Revelation and Prophecies full. I am Gat, your host. All right, this person I requested the natal chart reading, and the good news is I double checked everything to make sure everything's all right. So I definitely got the right information. Definitely saw the 5th. I don't want to say the whole birthday, but I know it's the 5th. Checked everything. I'll make sure everything is correct, and we're gonna go right in. You're looking at his birth chart right there. And there you have I want to do one thing at the chart I'm looking at. If I can, give me 1 second. I want to see if I can select it, and then wait, no, I don't want that. Let me do it again. I want to select this, select all, and then I want to say crop, because I think I should really get rid of something. Nah, it didn't work. All right, well, we'll do it like this. All right, so we got his ascendant and the first house. It's all the same. Dealing with Libra. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. He got that 2-5. Like he got. Let me see. He got like 7s. I can tell you that. Cause birth time 775, and even the first time it was listed like as a birth date it's 225. But now if you see his time, universal time 225. So he do got like a 5. A lot of things when shit happens, somebody trying to tell you something. Cause I think last time I thought it was 225, but it's not. So I made sure I did it right, did everything, double checked it all, and but you still got this. You still got the 225 on your universal time. So it's something with you and the number 225 got a connection. But then you got that 7 going on too, because if you notice, you got a lot of 7s on your chart, as well as 17, and then you see a lot of 2s, especially in Libra. So right away you could tell this person would be somewhat partnership minded or couple minded, because Libra is gonna be partnership or couple, and then he got 2s right there. 2s at his east point and 2s at his ascendant. Then he even got 2 with Venus, and he got that 13. Looks like a 13. Let me move this. Well, that might be a 19. Excuse me. All right, so we're gonna go in. The ascendant is how the world sees you. Really, let's do that. I'm gonna change that. You could say that when yours is in the first house, but that's not always. The ascendant is really when the sun went over the eastern horizon when you was born, but the ascendant is not always in your first house. So your first house is how the world sees you. But in your case, it will work either way. But sometimes people say the ascendant is how the world sees you, and that's not true, because sometimes your ascendant may not be in your first house. It might be in your 12th house or something like that. All right, now give me a second. I'm gonna close a few things off here. All right. So we should be able to do this. How do I want to do this? Yeah, let's do it. Let's say first house ascendant. And hopefully we can use my astrology book.com. Yep. Okay, the first house symbolizes early childhood conditioning, describes self-awareness, and the experiences most necessary for its development. The first house is the mask you wear and relating to and projecting yourself in the world. It rules physical appearance, body type, conscious self-image. What I write? Give me 1 second. First house ascendant. Alright, so this is what I want to do. I meant to say first house Libra. Give me 1 second. Libra in first house. Alright, so my astrology book doesn't want to do Libra, it does Mars. Alright, so we're going to do it differently. We're just going to say Libra in the first house and see who comes up. It's funny, now it came up. That's crazy. When I typed in my astrology book Libra in the first house, it didn't come up. When I took the my astrology book out and just left Libra in the first house, then my astrology book came up. Alright, now we're going to do this. Libra rising symbolizes that you can truly be the iron fist and the velvet glove. Learn to let go of an open, strong, and concealed self-interest, and to cooperate rather than to compete with others. Your artistic creative have a good color sense and know how to bring harmony and beauty into your surroundings. You're very socially oriented, have a great many personal contacts, and tend to see yourself through the eyes of reactions of others. You have a natural ability to reflect and mirror others as well. You're a good arguer, lawyer, diplomat, and natural matchmaker. If your Mars is not strong, being all things to all people and responding in a way to please and flatter can lead others to wonder if you have a viewpoint of your own. Libra rising is known for the most perfectly formed physical bodies. The house your Venus is in shows experience necessary in developing self-awareness and your expression as an individual. Venus sign and aspect will indicate your ease or difficulty in doing this. Alright, so now we're going to look at your Venus. The Venus shows experience necessary in developing self-awareness and your expression as an individual. Alright, so your Venus, first, second, third, fourth, fifth house. Fifth house of fun, but you got Aquarius, and that's your sun sign. So in this life, you're kind of working on your self-experience, your self-awareness. And how you express yourself as an individual. Because they're giving the implication they're giving an indication that maybe in a previous life you tried to be all things to all people and didn't really express yourself or your self-awareness. So in this life, they're kind of trying to push you to that. But now I still want to do it one more time. I want to say, let me see. So once again, they're saying this person will be diplomatic and sociable. This person can be somewhat graceful, mediating, and sociable. All right. now. We're going, because you got the retrograde, so I'm just seeing how I want to proceed. So just give me a moment. Alright, it's a file I'm looking for that I can't find it, so I'm going to put this on pause and look around. Alright, we're going to continue. Just give me a second. Alright, so we're going to look at Saturn retrograde. That's the first thing we're going to look at. We may take it to a different level, but first we'll start there. So Saturn retrograde is there. It's there as a taskmaster. And it's helping you to think about your actions in the world around you. It's going to cause you to slow down. Like to really think about and do things the right way. Now I'm letting you know right now, in the early stages, it's always like this, because you got to get a feel of what the chart is saying. Second, a lot of my files are going for some reason. That happens sometimes with computers. I really have no reason why. I looked all around, I don't see them. But always in the early stages, it's like that, because you're trying to get a feel of what they're saying. Also, Saturn retrograde might mean issues with authority. And you might take longer, like closing deals and sealing contracts, stuff like that. You might ask for extensions, for deadlines, and things you thought were complete, you may do it again. Because don't forget that first house, Libra, is also about partnerships and business. And they say if Saturn is in retrograde with your chart, it's likely you are constantly in conflict with authority. And I did some looking too, because I wanted to make sure everything was right. I wanted to make sure the information was good. So I didn't know if you were a Moor or not, because seeing you like you had a problem with license plates or some shit. Which I was laughing. I said this dude probably a Moor. But the charges got dropped. If it's the same dude. You might say it's not him, I don't know. But that's an issue with authority they're talking about. Either you feel persecuted by those who work above you, or you are a person currently mismanaging your power position. Setting limitations and learning the levels to which others may be pushed as matters which you must take issues. You are afraid of the risk needed to address the powers that be, but the rewards will be great if you can learn to gain more control in this part of your life. Patience will also be a lesson. So it's kind of saying that Saturn is saying like in a past life, you may be, or in the past, you may be gave in the discipline too much. That's kind of like what your first house is saying. So in this life, you're a little bit more rebellious. You're not really willing to just give into discipline or authority. And also you're trying to express yourself in this life because previously you were trying just to be a people person, trying to work with everybody. In this life, they want you to be more expressing yourself, having your own personality. Now, Jupiter retrograde. With Jupiter retrograde in your chart, you were perhaps persecuted for your iconoclastic, religious, ethical, or spiritual beliefs. So for some reason they keep saying something about persecution. This experience was troubling and has left you feeling uneasy about embracing anything larger than yourself out of fear of exile once again. You are also fearful of showing anyone the light of your wisdom as you don't want to feel responsible for jeopardizing their social standing. And this is your social house, and all this stuff is saying like social stuff. In this life, you may have come full circle and snub religion or hold it in disdain. Your lack of spirituality or fickle relationship with spiritual beliefs may leave you feeling flat. Coming to terms with the things that make you happy and listening to your inner voice will set you free. So your first house with the retrogrades is basically saying previously you were just trying to fit in and work it out with people. Whereas in this life, you're basically saying, nah, this is how I feel, and this is what I think. And if I feel like I want to drive and don't want to get a license or whatever, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take my risk. And if I get caught, I'm going to be like Dolo the Moor and get those charges dropped. All right, now we got to look at Lilith because you got Lilith. You got Lilith in your first house too. So I'm going to look again. See if I have anything on her. Because I had a file with everything, but unfortunately, like I said, you can't find the file. Somehow it's popped up missing. And all right, so what I'm gonna do, I'll keep that one open. Astrology in action. So I'm gonna see. The first thing I want to do is see retrograde. It acts like it don't want to go. Nope. I'm gonna put it again. Lilith retrograde. Mars retrograde. How about yeah, I want this Lilith in right. Astrology, Lilith in Libra. Astrology. So alright. Alright. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to get this retro. So again, they're talking about whenever a planet or an asteroid go retrograde, it will internalize the energy. It makes the energy harder to express and release. So whenever Lilith goes retrograde, it can act like the uranium in a nuclear bomb. And they said it could be like the psycho bitch from hell. And Lilith retrograde tends to be the person who keeps stuff inside. And you won't really know until they act. Like you might, oh, that person, that's a great guy. Oh no, we've never had a problem with so and so and blah blah blah. And then they do all kind of wild shit, and you're like, wow, I can't believe he did that. And they're like, wow, I guess we didn't really know him like we thought we knew him. So that's kind of like what Lilith retrograde is. But the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm just trying to find out her point in your first house. Okay, this one says Lilith position in the Libra speaks of mistakes and temptations linked to the negative expression of the sign of Libra. First of all, it may be constant irresolution, inability, and hesitation to make decisions, and irresponsibility. Because like I said, because of those retrogrades, especially Saturn, it's saying slow down, slow down. But if you're working with people, they're not going to really want to wait. Because you're going to like want to take your time and do, and they're not really going to want to, there could definitely be problems with people. So they say because of this, these qualities may stimulate conscious or unconscious betrayals. When action was needed, or when action is needed, you might just hesitate because you got all these retrogrades. And so you might even be guilty of double dealing with people. And they say Lilith with Libra can mean you like abuse the law. Because you don't like authority. That's Saturn retrograde. And then with Lilith, they say maybe a person practiced deception of law enforcement. And they say you have to be careful of being very formalistic or very dogmatic because of Lilith and Saturn. They say to purify your destiny, you have to really work hard to seek justice and truth because those retrogrades are going to make that difficult. But that's really what Libra's about, like harmony and fairness and stuff. They say spend time in fresh air, aim for clarity, purity, and peace. Avoid intrigues and learn to say no when it is necessary to do so. Oh, you even got Pluto. Woo! Now, just to let you know, Pluto will strike you externally to cause you to change internally. Alright, so we're going to do it again. We're going to do Pluto retrograde. With Pluto retrograde in your chart, you know what it means to be ostracized from the flock. At some point in your history, you were forced to be the scapegoat. So they keep saying probably in the previous life you were persecuted or even a scapegoat of the community. And it could even be in this life. And you stood alone for bad deeds that perhaps you didn't even commit. You are familiar with being the apple of the public's eye one moment and then defending yourself tooth and nail the next. And that's usually what happens when you try to help the people. I just did a new video about Noble, and I went in on that one. That's on real life and metaphysics. The experience has left you very untrusting of the world around you. Remember that nothing in the universe occurs in a vacuum and that all bodies are connected. Therefore, if you don't trust in others, you are also not trusting yourself. Believe in the people who have power over you, as they are sincerely looking out for your best interest. Now, I can't say I agree with that. Me and you both, we know. They don't like our color. You got to be careful. Just thought I'd add that in there. Can't be too trusting on this planet. Jesus was very trusting. Look what they did to him. And they changed his name because it's not Jesus. All right. So we finally got out your first house. That was a rough stop, bro. That was a rough stop for a first house. All right, now your second house, and you got Juno there, so that's gonna be interesting too, because Juno's gonna tell you your type of soulmate or the type of person you might end up in a relationship with. All right. So what I'm doing, just so you know, I like getting second opinions. See, I could go through all this just me, but I don't like doing it. I like getting second opinions. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. All right. But now Scorpio's in your second house. So Scorpio rules your eighth house. Now, straight up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you definitely got a money situation going on. Notice how you in your eighth house you got Chiron, which is a healer, and it's 13, but then 31 backwards. So you know how people saying 13 love. So you got the 13, then you got the 31. It's still 13 backwards. I always call that an on and off switch. And even your Lilith was at 13. And what else? And your Aquarius sun sign got that 13 too. 17 and 13 give you 30. So it's important to understand your eighth house. Because your eighth house and your second house are directly connected, and it's all about the money. Now Taurus is also Taurus is about the money, possessions and finances, but Taurus is also very sensual. And Taurus puts value on everything. So your second house, which is about money, is ruled by Taurus, but Scorpio's there. And your second house is all about money, possessions, and value. And the person you find in a relationship is going to be like that. But it's also, the Scorpio is all about other people's money, shared resources, death, birth, death, rebirth, resurrection, regeneration, taxes, owing people like the debt, DEPTH, twin flames, twin souls, soul reincarnation, anything creepy, cruelly, Halloween, the graveyard, the underworld, soul, sex, all kind of like animalistic behavior, sex, drugs, alternative science, alchemy, metaphysics, esoteric, mysticism, occultism, psychicism, tarot cards, any type of readings, probably astrology's there too. Scorpio can be a sign that is very doubtful, very sexual, very transforming, great power because you got Pluto there. Great change, great power, power struggles, obsession. So you'll be making money in those areas. Now I know I said something about Pluto retrograde. Oh yeah, I did read Pluto. Did I? Let me read it again. Yeah, you might have been ostracized in the farm. All right, so I want to do a little bit more on Pluto, and I want something else on retrogrades. Give me a second. See, your first house, the reason why it's kind of dangerous, because it's designed to make you think more, but basically only in your self-interest. And that's usually what happens, because people be real nice, and then they kind of regret it, because they be real nice, and they get walked on, and then be like, I ain't going to be late, but then they go to the other extreme. All right, so I got another one. Pluto retrograde shows significant and sudden changes throughout life, a possible period of withdrawal, loneliness, and loss of loved ones, and other sufferings, which aim to an important evolution of the spirit after it passes over its problems. And that's why I say you can get attacked. Pluto will attack you externally, like with a big boom, but it'll help you internally. Like some people getting hard car accidents, but then their psychic powers increase and stuff. Along with problems, Pluto offers a great power to overcome these events. Personally, change, which will take place in the end, must necessarily be for the better in order that the spiritual leap to be made forward. Okay. So now we want to look at, what is this? Let's see. Scorpio in the second house. So your Juno, the type of person you end up in a relationship with, all that stuff I just got finished reading about the 8th house, that's what Juno was telling you. You're gonna have you'll be in a relationship with somebody that has those things, many of those traits that I just said of the 8th house, because that's what Scorpio does. All right, I should have did. Let me do this again. My astrology book. I'd rather do it on that one if I can. My astrology book.com. Nope. Come on. All right, take this out of here. Do it again. Scorpio in the second house. Astrology 101. Scorpio in the second house. All right, this is gonna be astrologyclub.org. Scorpio in the second house. Your ability to get your basic survival needs met is strongly influenced by your level of emotional and/or spiritual vulnerability and your expression of true power. If you feel self-confident and strong, you are more likely to attract and maintain the financial, material, physical resources that you need to live in your desired lifestyle. However, if you are lacking self-confidence or feel that you are in a position of emotional weakness, you may find it harder for you to attain what you need or want in this regard. You may become obsessed with your emotional, spiritual connections to others to the point that you'll relate to the people in your life as possessions or resources, because that's what Taurus does anyway. Taurus actually assigns value to people. Like, okay, I'm cool with Bill because Bill got a car, and when I need to go somewhere, Bill will take me, and boom, 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 and Bill don't charge me no gas money. Now John's an a-hole. I can't really use John. I don't really F with John. F John. So you're assigning value to people. That's what they do. That's what Taurus does. And the reason why they keep talking about emotions is because Scorpio is a water sign, can deal with emotions. With your emotional, spiritual connections to others, to the point that you relate to people in your life as possessions or resources rather than simply as people you care about. Your emotional, spiritual connections tend to hold more personal value to you than the actual financial, material value or amount of the resource you attract or bring into your life. This position related to the determination of values of truth, especially to the higher values of truth, where truth could be applied to the material aspects of life rather than from purely the security viewpoint. Here too, the Scorpion or Scorpio must realize the value of spiritual development. The second house brings in the intuitive facility, and Scorpio is an intuitive sign. Thus, the location of Scorpio on the crust of the second house emphasizes the proper use of intuition. So now, like when people do certain things, when you have astrology, you can understand it because it's right there. Because what we do is usually what we thought about. Like whatever's in our mind, if we think about it long enough, that's usually what we do. But again, that's where his relationship would be, primarily with that second house. And also, because of Pluto, it's still going to connect to the first house because Pluto rules Scorpio. And then the second house goes directly to your 8th house. All right, we're not done with your second house, but what we're doing, the reason why we're going to your 3rd house, because your Uranus is right on the border of your 2nd and 3rd. So really your 2nd and 3rd house is going to kind of kick it right back to the 2nd house. I mean, yeah, your 3rd house is going to kick all that energy in the 3rd house back to the 2nd house. See, your relationship is all tied up with your 1st house, your 2nd house, your 8th house, and then even your 3rd house. So first thing you want to do Neptune conjunct Uranus. Right? This is astromatrix.org. I don't know if they're any good. We're going to check it out right now. All right. Let's say natal. This conjunction came within a 9-degree orb in November 1988. Was exact in February, basically when he was born. October 1993, and stayed in orb until 1998. The last time before that was 1821 to 23. These people will have a strong desire of identification with the collective mind and group consciousness, which in some cases could revert back to fervent nationalistic affinities in countries that have a powerful controlling religion, racial, political, and social structure. So you was born to be somewhat of a rebel. Yet in most cases, it's unlikely that this will result in the emergence of a charismatic demagogues, as in recent examples of the manipulations of the masses. There will be a directing sense of social responsibility and an awareness of participating in a social community, which will be expressed in positive ways for the betterment of all. The merged energies of this conjunction will inspire concepts of brotherhood, which will reflect the ideas of Uranus and Neptune, a form of revolutionary mysticism. That's a Noble Drew Ali, emerging from an acute mental and emotional sensitivity connected to an intuitive, imaginative facility. And that's why they're connecting your 2nd and 3rd house together. Personal freedoms and rights will have a high priority, and there will be a very new perception of leadership being formed, which can dissolve these old patterns of a powerful leader and hundreds of following sheep. There is a distrust of leaders, we already did that in your 1st house, based on an intuitive perception of their real motivations and characteristics, which will also develop into new understandings of authority and power in society. Those born under this aspect will be willing to fight for the maintenance of personal freedoms and rights if they are under threat by the decisions of social leaders. A new balance of power, see how they said balance? It goes right back to your 1st house. A new balance of power between the people and the states. If y'all are listening, you see how his 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and even 4th houses are all working together. A new balance of power between the people and the state will begin to form, and new politics should rise into view, reflecting the increase in individual rights and powers. Generally, this should be a period of spiritual and scientific development, because Uranus can deal with science. So can Scorpio, really. Where breakthroughs occur in exploration of the nature of mind, changes that became inevitable by 1994 will have to be more fully achieved and realized by this new generation, imbued with more conscious spirit of human unity and solidarity. So they just didn't leave you in a rebel state. That's good. They did something with it. Because that was what I was really wanting. I just didn't want to say it. But I like, man, they made this dude up to like be a rebel and shit. You got to put some stability in that. Remember that movie Juice? That's how that nigga was. I remember when I first saw that movie, I thought it was going to be a typical like hip-hop movie or something with Tupac. When I saw that movie, I was like, man, this movie ain't had nothing to do with hip-hop. That nigga was crazy. As soon as he got that gun, this nigga was crazy. He was killing everybody's best friends and shit. As soon as he got that gun, that nigga lost his mind. That was really like a serial killer movie and shit. It ain't had nothing to do with hip-hop. It had some hip-hop music in it. But what that movie was, Juice, that was a fucking serial killer in the hood type movie and shit. And that's when people begin to realize that Tupac could really act. Because that nigga lost his mind as soon as he got that gun. So now we starting to understand. I told you it would develop. But at the first, and I like to go slow until I got a pretty good idea. But I still go slow because I don't want to miss nothing. But in the beginning, you got to go real slow because you're trying to get an idea of when they made this person, what was they making for this particular life. Okay, now, what you got to understand, what you got a really unique chart, it could go a lot of different ways. But let me do Sagittarius and Gemini. Well, Sagittarius in the third house. And I'm going to try it again. MyAstrologyBook.com. My astrology book. Sagittarius in the third house. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to try Sagittarius in the third house. That's YAHOO. Alright, so we're going to do it again. Sagittarius in the third house. I think he wanted to do YAHOO. I'm going to look at YAHOO. It's astrology.yahoo.com, but I can't guarantee they really going to be any good. Let's see. What the heck? Get out of here. Alright, so just so you know, Sagittarius deals with anything long distance. Culture. Anything foreign language, philosophy, religion. When I say class, like they got a lot of class. Like that person got a lot of class. All that is in the ninth. Sagittarius rules your ninth house. Now I'm reading this. The third house revolves around everything having to do with communication. Communication may be in the form of speech, writings, the way a person behaves with others around him or her. These people may include family members, such as siblings, parents, and children, or strangers and acquaintances. The third house deals with the mental pattern of a person, which determine how the person relates to oneself and others around him and her. Since early education and certain short travel opportunities contribute significantly to the way a person behaves and communicates, the third house also deals with these areas. But as we know, the source of all thought processes is the brain or the mind. Hence, it wouldn't be wrong if we said that the third house governs the mind. When we speak about mind, it deals with many things which contribute to a person's learning and development, which again contribute to his or her awareness and behavior. For example, these things include a person's intelligence, his or her ability to understand, mental agility, and mental dexterity, and so on. Since the ways a person communicates and relates to the surroundings determine his or her success or failure, the third house can also be seen as governing the change of fortunes due to communication. Now, it's just something real unique about your third house, but I'm going to read this first. Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign ruled by Jupiter. As such, it needs gaining knowledge and expanding one's experience, is plural experiences. Sagittarius is also usually associated with traveling. Also, when Sagittarius occupies a particular house, this house requires learning and expanding through experiences. However, one should be careful about overexpanding. Sagittarius and the third house. As a fire sign, people with Sagittarius occupying the third house are enthusiastic in the way they communicate. You may be sometimes looked upon as talkative, but you will also have a very optimistic as well as cheerful outlook about life. And since Sagittarius is all about learning through experiences, they love learning. They have the ability of inspiring others through their writings and speeches. You may have a natural ability to talk about important issues surrounding religion, politics, education. If Sagittarius has occupied your third house, you may be even philosophical and a visionary in the way you put forth your ideas and thoughts. You may be generous towards people around you, such as your siblings or neighbors. Since Sagittarius is also about traveling, you may travel to places in order to enhance your knowledge. These may be places you may not have visited before. Even if you don't travel physically, you may communicate with people from faraway places. In essence, people with Sagittarius in the third house tend to be talkative and enthusiastic in delivering their ideas. They may be visionaries and philosophical in the way they put forth their thoughts. As Sagittarius rules traveling, they may either physically travel to places or keep in touch with their loved ones over faraway places. All right. So now we got it. So your third house is connected to your second house through Uranus, but it's really about a person that can communicate. You see what I'm saying? He don't like authority. Notice he ain't got no reference. Notice he don't have no retrogrades in his third house. But then that first house especially, this dude don't really like authority, but he got his own way. How he think life should be and how rulership should run. But what's unique about his third house is this. And I told you it connects to his second house. See, in most charts, your third house, when you're dealing with like a twin soul, twin flame relationship, it's the early stages. It's the so-called immature stages. It's when they can't get it together. They break up. But when you get to the ninth house, ruled by Sagittarius, it's when they're a little bit more mature. Like they broken up and they've done whatever to each other. And then they kind of realize, well, you know, I really want to be with that person, or I really can't live without them. I didn't know my life would be so hard without that person. Now they're more willing to, you know, not run all the time. Not get on each other's nerves and split up. Now they're more willing to talk a little bit more and get through it. But that's usually the ninth house. That's like Sagittarius rules the ninth house. But you got Sagittarius in your third house, which is usually what I call a short-term house for a relationship. Because that's the twins. Gemini is the twins. So the implication there is that it's a couple of implications. Really. Because they saying you so talkative and so like charismatic, this person might fall heads over heel over you. So y'all won't really have a whole lot of make-up, break-up shit. Possibly. Possibly. Plus Neptune making you idealistic or a dreamer. And people like that. And Uranus is like exciting. You know, also kind of like up to date with stuff going on. So these are all reasons why they may make it the first time. Uranus also means suddenly. So what I'm trying to say is, but that goes with Gemini, because Gemini is short term. Suddenly is something just come out of nowhere. And then Gemini is just short term. Like, how the fuck does it's over already? You know, you ready to watch a good fight and shit? Like back in the day, a Mike Tyson fight, and you got popcorn and shit, you about to just dig in and just chill out. And he knocked that nigga out like in 30 seconds and shit. So that's what you got going on. And it's alchemistry. What I'm trying to tell you is your third house is alchemistry. Because they took something that's supposed to be short and then quick. And when I say end quick, it might go 2-3 months, but it's going to end. Like anybody in a twin flame relationship, it's supposed to end. It's not supposed to be you meet your twin soul, and it's beautiful love, and y'all love each other. And oh, this is my soul. I'll never break up with them. I love them. It's supposed to break up. The meaning is supposed to be your Uranus are really impactful and wonderful first, and then all of a sudden you go into separation, and you'll be hurting each other and break up, make up, and all that until you get to that Sagittarius energy. But this Sagittarius energy is already right there. So I think this person kind of like, in my opinion, kind of like came out of nowhere. It was suddenly. And before you, it's like when you meet somebody and you already ready. Because I got somebody going through some shit like that right now. And he's an Aquarius. He just met this person talking about wife and shit. So, I'm not saying it's that extreme, but it's like that. Because you got the idealism of Neptune. And you got your Uranus, Uranus, which is sudden. And then you got Sagittarius, which is like, can be more long term. More mature. So that's what I would kind of say. And that energy goes right back to your second house where you met this person. See, because you're dealing with partnership in the first house. Because you see Libra right there. You're dealing with partnership. And then in the second house, you're dealing with business because it's finance. But it's probably the same person. Now, I'm going to send you your free report again. But in your free report, and also in the description box, it tells you that whenever you have a unique Capricorn Cancer situation, you're usually dealing with somebody that's higher than like a human. And so your Capricorn is in the 4th house, and that's usually is ruled by Cancer. And then your Cancer is in your 10th house, which is really ruled by Capricorn. So you do have a unique Capricorn Cancer situation on your chart. And basically, the 4th house is all about really family, education, even like real estate, land, ancestors, vehicles, the heart, travel. So but with Capricorn there, Capricorn is just a worker, but he's kind of serious minded. So you probably came off as a serious minded person in those areas. Now, when you see Mars in the 5th house like yours, that means you're kind of athletic, outgoing, and you got the Aquarius. And Venus is all about love, beauty, finance, diplomacy, forgiveness. But they already said you're like a diplomatic person. That's like when you think of Malcolm, he was like that. Here come a revolutionary, but he could go to toe with the most intellectual people and eat them up. Farrakhan said Malcolm used to be killing them white boys at the colleges and shit. They try to debate him and he would just eat them up. All right, so that's what you basically see in your 5th house. But what I really want to know in your 5th house is because I know Venus and Pisces is unconditional love. So what is Venus and Aries? So I'm gonna try to find that out. Your 5th house is all about anything fun, including entertainment, but also a writer. Your 3rd house is about writing too, like poets and writers and performers and artists. That's both. Your 3rd house is a lot like your 5th house. So it says love sign, Aquarius, Venus. And they give you a lot of information. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this out of here and put it on my a Word document because I don't feel like I'm going to increase the text size. So I don't have to sit here and squint. Aquarius Venus is open-minded and has an eye towards the future. They want to be seen as rebellious, unique, and maybe a bit provocative. They don't follow the mainstream in love. So yeah, Mars in the 5th house would make you real competitive too. They are attracted to the unconventional relationship, and that's why you got Uranus right over there where your relationship was. The more unusual, the better. They don't want to follow the rules, but are not above making some of their own. They are friendly to everyone, but not everyone warrants personal attention from this sign. They are generally popular and well-liked, so they often have a sparkling personality. Aquarius Venus does not like restrictions and can appear to be rather aloof. They can be a bit detached in a relationship. They want to be loved for their brains and their vision. They like partners who are also good friends, and they don't like to have any displays of emotions or anger in public. They will have a great time trying to shock you by their unusual habits or their progressive thinking. They often date many different types of people, regardless of social convention or peer pressure. They want others to let them know how interesting they are. While they get crushes easily, true love can be a bit more challenging. Once they commit, they stick to it. They may feel a bit claustrophobic with a partner who is clingy or high maintenance. They do best when they get a little space once in a while. They do best with someone who won't judge their outlandish ideas and who may be as unusual as they are. And that's probably why your Juno is with Scorpio. As a friend, they may be a member of many groups or clubs. Their activism is a place where they may meet many people like that, but emotionally they are a bit of a loner. So Aquarius Venus may compromise and be alone in a busy location. They may be a soothing influence on someone who needs balance and may attract eccentrics or outcasts. It's funny how they keep saying balance, if you notice that, and that's your first house. Your ascendant is Libra, balance. So you could even see how you were born for that partner. The Venus in Aquarius person treats them all the same amount of respect. So what we're saying, even if you have people that are outcasts, you still treat them all the same with respect. Creatively, Aquarius Venus is a few steps ahead of the crowd. Their inspiration won't be understood yet, but by the time it is, they'll have moved on to something new. People with Venus Aquarius get noticed because they are offbeat. They stand up for the underdog. And remember, your 5th house is also about travel as well. They stand up for the underdog, and people respect them for this, especially since they don't care how it reflects on them. Aquarius Venus is not critical, and they don't dredge up old hurts. They are never boring to be around due to their spontaneous nature. Those who are attracted to Aquarius Venus should be able to match them intellectually. You should allow them enough freedom to have nights out with their friends, yet can still be their very best friend. Marriage may not be their cup of tea until they have had time to explore. Aquarius Venus is curious, and they enjoy some intellectual stimulation from their partner. They don't like to stagnate, and they have a unique ability to step back and get a new perspective on their situation. While others see them as calming influences, they are not above stirring up a little controversy to make things interesting. Okay. The moon used to rule Pisces. Now the moon rules Cancer. So again, your 6th house is connected to your 4th house. Why? Because of healing. Now, the moon in Cancer makes Cancer nurturing or motherly. So your 6th house is also connected to your 10th house as well. And the moon in Pisces kind of makes Pisces psychic, intuitive. And Neptune in Pisces, Neptune rules over Pisces and makes it discerning, spiritual discernment. But Neptune in Pisces, it deals with spirituality, but it also deals with your dreams. And your moon is going to be dealing with your emotions, but also your psyche, and believe it or not, even your soul. So in your 6th house, ruled by Virgo, it's all about, the 6th house is all about health, healing, service, exercise, the home, small animals, children, daily activities, co-workers or subordinates. And Pisces also rules your 12th house, and as you see, that's exactly where Virgo is. So this is all about healing, and it could be spiritual, because they mentioned spiritual earlier because of Pisces. And that spiritual healing is also in your 4th house, and because Capricorn in your 4th house is probably in your 10th house as well, because your business sector has Cancer there, and Cancer really is a family sign, but it can also be, like I said, education, like, teenage or college education, land and property. So he may have did something with real estate before, family, also ancestors, because some people do that. They work with tribes and stuff like that. Automobiles, the heart, and transportation. That would be Cancer. Now your 7th house deals with relationships, but if you see, your 7th house is right across from your ascendant, because your 7th house starts your descendant. But again, that vertex or that cross is showing that your relationship, ruled by Libra, is Aries, or forward moving. But your 7th house really is using 1st house energy, because Aries rules the 1st house. And your what's going on in your 1st house is, especially in your 7th house. But your 7th house is trying to tell you, and they go that number 7. And if you notice, you keep seeing that number 7. But that number 7 is directly connected to your soulmate as well. It's connected to you too, but it's definitely connected to your soulmate. And that's why 2-5 keep popping up. That's how twin flames are, because they'll just keep getting your attention. And that's why you keep seeing the number 2 on your chart. And when you see 17, that deals with karma. Because ironically, 17 could be Vesta, the priestess. And your 17 is not at Vesta, but it's close enough to Vesta. And Vesta and Virgo work together for healing, and it's the high priestess for spirituality, and that's your spiritual house. So this would definitely be a spiritual person, but he has a spiritual purpose and mission with his twin. So with Aries there, they have somewhat of an aggressive relationship. So I really want to just see what Palace in Aries says. Let me see. Let me just do a couple of things. Palace in the 7th house. All right, this is Bob Mark, astrologer. The tendency with Palace in the 2nd house is to attract marriage and business partners who are good at recognizing patterns. So that's going to be probably her. It could be your gift, but it might be her gift too. The ability to recognize patterns, and that's going to help you in your business. And it does give the impression that his soulmate will also be his business partner, who are good at recognizing patterns, solving problems, and arranging things. But it frequently happens that the person with Palace in the 7th house finds it easier to do these things when there is someone else around. The other person doesn't. So they might do it together. They might be able to sit down and solve stuff together. The other person doesn't even have to say a word. Just having another person there will make it easier for a Palace in the 7th house person to solve problems and see patterns. But Aries kind of mean, well, Aries is a very focused thing anyway, good vision, because Aries deals with the head. But I'm not saying every single Aries has good eyesight, but I believe Aries has good eyesight because it helps them be focused. That's a very focused sign. So I think that's why you have Aries there in the 7th house. Yeah, so we're going to try to see Aries in Palace. Aries in Palace charges right in. But I think they're both that way though. If the problem needs a quick dynamic solution, you're the person to ask. This is a good placement if there is some sort of competition, or better yet, a battle involved. Because he's competitive anyway, because he has Mars in the 5th house. Aries is an innovator and loves to be on the cutting edge. Albert Einstein has Palace in Aries in the 10th house. All right. So it's her and him with that number 7. And then Palace is taking that energy right into the 8th house. So first thing you want to do is say Chiron in Taurus. And remember, Taurus is a sensual sign. It likes massages. It likes healings. It is about money and possessions, but it's also about placing value on things. So his relationship is basically based on business. Like, I mean, it's still sex and all that other stuff too. But it's like his business partner. Alright. 5-mark astrology. We're going to do it again. 5-mark astrologer, rather. So he says, Chiron is considered a healer, and he says Virgo doesn't rule healing, but according to us, it does. He says Scorpio rules healing, but the funny thing is, this gentleman has a large presence of Scorpio in his chart, and really Virgo. So either way, they're still using it for healing. Chiron also taught them martial arts, so he may have taken martial arts, or he may know martial arts. Because that's why you're seeing Aries and Mars and stuff like that. Now you have Chiron in the 8th house. So what he's saying is this. It is an indicator of where we have problems that tend to keep occurring in one form or another throughout our lives. So it can also show you where you can teach and help others. And they say any Chiron problem can be solved. It can be dealt with and solved. So it is where you might have a wound, and that wound could have been caused by the person with a zodiac sign of Taurus, or somebody with a Taurus, like a headstrong bull personality. Chiron always shows where you have an affinity for teaching and where you can teach others, that you can do things, that they can do things better than you can do yourself. So, and that's where you can make money. That's what I was trying to tell you. A lot of times we can turn a bad situation into a good situation. So Chiron in the 8th house. It said, what a great sex therapist you can be. You have the ability to bring out the sexual best in a romantic partner. But they said while giving yourself the shorter end of the stick. You could also get stuck with taking care of partnership resources because you're good at it. Or conversely, keep getting partners who want to take care of it and do you out of your fair share. So they said be careful of partners like that. Perhaps you become too dependent on money from others for support, or too much of what you earn goes to support others. You might tend to accept other people's value, say your family, your group, or society, too readily. One more thing, the myth of Chiron can actually come alive with this placement. You could have a talent for healing or rehabilitating others, but not yourself. So they say make sure you're using your Chiron energy to heal yourself as well. Now Chiron in Taurus. This is all Bob Mark, the astrologer. Taurus is the sign of money and resources, and it shows our ability to possess things. It also shows that what we instinctively value, including ourselves. This is the sign that gives us our gut level sense of self-worth. Chiron here can give us miser's urge to hold on to every penny while denying ourselves any of life's pleasures, or a rejection of those low materialistic values, and consequently a life of poverty. And guess what? Deep down inside, both are the same. They both deny themselves pleasure and enjoyment because they don't value themselves. Of course, as always, with Chiron, it's 9:13 right now. I just did a video on the 9:13. Check it out. It's called Noble on Real Life and Metaphysics. Just did it today. Of course, as always with Chiron, there is the ability to give good advice to everyone else concerning their material needs and sense of self-worth. People with a Chiron and Taurus have to learn how to enjoy the basic physical pleasures of life. They won't be able to do this, however, until they deal with their damaged sense of self-worth. So you really have to get that self-worth up. And that's kind of what all those retrogrades was trying to tell you in the first house. Ninth house, see, there you have it. Now they got Gemini there. Now I already explained why they did that. Your ninth house is basically your third house. So, for whatever reason, they didn't want you and her to go through all that makeup breakup. So this would be one chart. If I had the other chart, this would be one chart that they could use to say, all twin flames don't go into separation. But see, I like to see it on the chart. I'm not with all that sissy. I call it sissy stuff, punk stuff. Oh, it's my twin because the way I feel and blah, blah, blah. See, I've seen charts that they were so close, it would be hard to tell which one was the twin. So you can't really, you got to really, really know your shit. All right, we already described your 10th house. Kind of, even when I say family business, it could be with your twin or it could actually be family. It just all depends. So we want to go Chiron, that ain't Chiron, that's Kyrus retrograde in Cancer. All right. This is spiritnow.com. The reason why this is important because it's your 10th house, really a career and reputation. All right, again, I want to Curious is an asteroid named after a Earth goddess that symbolizes nurturing ability, unconditional love, and family attachments. But when it goes backwards in the sky, it's time when your nurturing will need to be turned inward. This celestial event takes place. Well, I don't want to say when it takes place because I don't know what the year is, so I'm not going to say that. In essence, Curious retrograde does not bode well for relationships, especially if they are codependent in the first place. Someone could unexpectedly withdraw their affections or try to break an emotionally unhealthy cycle by behaving dramatically different. Addictions and abusive patterns of relationships also tend to be more apparent when Curious goes retrograde. Relationships will seem a little colder. So, but this is dealing with family. So there's family issues there. Cause like he's gonna have to heal his, he's gonna have to get healing himself as well. So that's what it's implying as well. Usually the message of Curious retrograde is to go inward and cultivate your ability to unconditionally love yourself. If you want to be able to love others better. Instead of being a fountain of sympathy and understanding for everyone else. Because that's what a lot of people do when they got problems. Instead of them like really getting themselves together, they start helping other people. Which is kind of like a big mistake. Because then you don't get the healing you need, but you're trying to heal all these other people. Focus on fulfilling your own needs. This is the best way to encourage others to do the same, and you'll be helping them by decreasing their dependent tendencies on you. And they said another consequence of this can be poor crops, as Curious is an agricultural goddess. Okay, now you want to say Curious in Cancer. When Curious starts moving backwards or goes retrograde in the sky, it is time to tighten your belt. You may find that taxes or insurance go up with regard to a property. If you have been working hard, you are sure to reap a reward for what you are doing, but you probably will not be seeing results of this until the end of the summer. Someone who has been critical of you should be told to back off. Take any gossip that you hear with a grain of salt, especially if it's from another older woman. House 11, True North Node. Now your house 11 is about friendship, groups, associations, and you got Leo there. Leo's all about love, romance. He's a leader, he's a friend, he's loyal, he's bold, he's creative, loves to travel, fun, entertaining. So I'm gonna try to find this website I found before. True North Node and Leo. And the True North Node is, well, let me just find it first. True North Node and Leo. True, there it is. The soulmate site. The -soulmate-site.com. Life theme is I will. Soul color is gold. That's why when they be talking about gold in the Bible, they be talking about the Lion of Judah, which is that yellow lion, or the sun, as shewing of righteousness, Malachi chapter 4. All right. So this would be your soul purpose. Your True North Node is your purpose in this life, and this woman calls it your soul purpose. So you really want to listen up? we're really going to go in here. Give me a moment. Putting this on a Word document. North Node in Leo represents your soul mission according to karmic astrology. Leo symbolically represents the emotional responses, attitudes, and energy to adopt and explore throughout your life. There are 3 steps you can use to subconsciously attract a soulmate. If you want to go deeper, alright, let's go. Step 1, appreciate your Aquarius talents. Being a humanist dedicated to holism and equality is natural for you. So we already went over that part. That was basically your 3rd house. Now Aquarius represents your karmic past, but ironically, even though Aquarius represents your karmic past, it's still your sun sign. So definitely appreciate your Aquarius, but don't make your Aquarius qualities the center of your life. Celebrate your humanism, desire for justice and uniqueness. Enjoy your friends and contribute to the causes you believe in. Now keep in mind, she doesn't know. She doesn't know that your Leo is in your 11th house. She just knows that's your true North Node. So she already told you enjoy your friends, but that's what your 11th house is: friends, association, and groups. Enjoy your friends, contribute to the causes you believe in. Enjoy science, metaphysics, mind-body connection, astrology, and other non-mainstream interests. Be a rebel with a cause. Just like she already knows you're a rebel, even though she only knows very little information. Study Aquarius to understand its highest potential and choose to live that, holding Aquarius ever so lightly. This is the first step to consciously attracting your soulmate. Step 2, own your Aquarius karma. So that means you would have some karma from a past life regarding Aquarius, since your true North Node in this life is Leo. And Leo is opposite Aquarius. Careful not to be aloof in your relationships or overly logical or radical. With the North Node in Leo, your karma is around the pursuit of intellect, knowledge, and equality at the expense of your emotional relations and creative expressions. Do you resist leadership? When stressed, do you get even more rebellious and out there? Have friends let you down? Are you a loner? Do you drive with license plates? No, I'm just joking. Calm down. That's what the internet said. I didn't say it. Have you ever been accused of being cold? Bingo. So she's saying those are stuff you would need to work on. In past lifetimes, you might have been a political leader, a revolutionary who went too far. You was down with You was down with early Malcolm or something. You was down with Marcus Garvey and shit. I gotta read that again. In a past lifetime, you may have been a political leader, a revolutionary that went too far, an astrologer or astronomer, or a social advocate. You might also have been a scientist whose obsession for his work alienated his family and friends. Do you defer to a group rather than manifesting your own desires? And that's kind of what happened to you before. This is your clue. That's why you got all those retrogrades. The shadow side of the North Node in Leo has to do with an exaggerated sense of social justice, an over-attachment to friends, causes, and groups at the expense of one's own personal desire, heart connection, and creative expression. Step 3. Step into your Leo soul mission. Step into the spotlight. inspire others. Wear gold because it's your soul color. Leo is romantic, generous, and values fine things. Leo is a joyful child and the actor who plays naturally and entertains. Leo is about the sun that shines bright. If not an actor, Leo creates a stage in life. Leo expresses their inner child and inspires others to follow. Leo is an inspired leader. No matter how foreign it sounds to you, this is the energy to step into the course of your lifetime. In past Aquarius lifetime, you put aside your own desires to support a group's vision to assist mankind. North Node Leo is about manifesting your personal desire. It is bigger than life personality that others want to follow. Leo is also romantic and not shy, showing how Leo feels. At times, a Leo soul mission creates a situation where they feel abandoned by friends. If this happens, it's time to get a hold of your dreams, your unique gift to the world. Once you do, you may even choose to invent something humanitarian. But you'll do it from your heart in your own unique way. When it comes to your soulmate, explore your creativity. Be generous with your heart. Initiate romance. Lead the way. Certainly be friends, but know that you're meant to be the one on stage. A true soulmate relationship will encourage you to be more Leo than Aquarius and will thrive because of it. The house where your Leo soul mission expresses itself, the 11th house of friendship groups and associations, that was me, I added that, is the area of life where your new shining creation, a substantial gift for the world, will be generally delivered. So what they're trying to tell you is before you was just trying to fit in, you wasn't looking for no trouble, you wasn't looking to be, you didn't want to make no waves. So you would just fit in with the group. But now they're trying to tell you you got to be the centerpiece of the group. Your final house, 12th house, again, we already told you service, healing. Now that one thing is part of fortune. All part of fortune really does is amplify. Like if you say part of fortune in Virgo, it's just gonna amplify the Virgo energy. Part of fortune in the 12th house is gonna analyze that. Now they don't do it for asteroids, but say it was a planet, then it would say part of fortune conjunct that planet, but you don't have a planet, you have the asteroid, which we are going to talk about that asteroid, because that asteroid is Vesta, and Vesta works with Virgo. She represents the fire in your house, in your car, anything with fire, electricity, engine, chimney, fireplace, electricity, fire within yourself. She's spiritual. She represents spiritual. She's a priestess working with Virgo. She represents the fireplace in your house, the furnace. This is also the area you need to slow down in because you'll use up all your energy and get sick. So you have to slow down in it so you can refresh yourself. All right. Now we want to do that number 17. But I'm hoping I can find desktop PC. Give me a second, I'm clearing up a couple of things. a second, y'all. Just looking around this system, this PC. All right. Quick access. All right. Downloads, documents. Natal chart. All right. Desktop. All right, so we're gonna try. Well, let me do number 17. If I was trying to see if I said, like I said, the whole file was going. So put karma number 17. I think this is it. Yep. Now listen to this. Karma number 17 is the star of the Magi. And this is also Vesta, just so you know. This is a highly spiritual number and was expressed and symbolized by the ancient Chaldeans as the eight-pointed star of Venus. The star of Magi is the image of love and peace and promises that the person or entity it represents will rise superior in spirit to the trials and difficulties of earlier life. Now I want you to listen to me again, because listen to what it's saying. The star of the Magi is the image, and that's the star that they say of Venus, is the image of love and peace and promises that the person or entity it represents will rise superior in spirit to the trials and difficulties of earlier life. Now when they're saying earlier life, they're also talking about past life, which is what your chart is all about. With the ability to conquer former failure in personal relationships and a career. And that's what everything is. Your whole thing is about personal relationships, career. 17 is the number of immortality. I told you about the Cancer Capricorn connection. And it indicates that the person's name will live after him. This is an extremely fortunate compound number with one warning. It reduces to the single number 8, so it's important for anyone with 17 as a compound key number to carefully read the section about the numbers 4 and 8. Now we know for a fact 8 deals with karma, but also deals with business and finance. That's all in your 8th house. So you have to be very careful of karma or creating any new karma. Now anything when we talked about your retrogrades, that's kind of like karma in this life, but we told you what it was and what to work on. So you do have that on this video. All right, now let's go back to your chart. So now we want to do Vesta retrograde, because Vesta deals with spirituality, with family. That's why she's with Virgo, the home. But she deals with spirituality too. But we want to see why your Vesta is retrograde. Now I see let me get rid of some of this stuff, because I really want them. I want them to deal with. See, he's dealing with Vesta, but I really want him to deal with a retrograde, and I don't think he does. But we'll see. Nope. So we're gonna leave that there for now. Vesta and the Old Souls connection, but again, because I think it's important we take some time with this one. So just hold on for a moment. All right, let me see if this one does it. So we're really just looking for, I'm going to take all this out, but we really want Vesta retrograde. So this says Art Charts Daily Astrology, Vesta retrograde. We'll see what it says. Retrograde zone. I don't know about this one. Let's check it out. This says Twin Flame Astrology Report, Vesta retrograde. Let's check it out. Like I said, so we are going to take our time because I am finding information, but it's one of those things you have to take your time, but I think it's very important. All right. Vesta retrograde. This is a time to get back to your center. It's time to focus inward and find ways to amuse yourself by yourself, to playfully find your creative epic center. Tend to your altar, whatever form it takes. Build and strengthen your inner walls and get centered. In Greek mythology, Vesta was the goddess of the hearth. Astrologically, Vesta symbolizes the family and the home, that to which we are devoted and committed. Vesta is our focus, our inner center, where we feel safe. In the Greek era, Vesta celebrated sexuality as a divine channeling of lunar energy. Since Roman times, the Vesta virgins have been associated with sexual purity, and so Vesta has become associated with alienization, inhibitions, and sexual awkwardness. Vesta is the transmutation of sexual energy into focused creative ability. Now this is Jessica Adams. When we get to Vesta, it's a whole lot of naked women. Vesta represents the Vestal virgins of ancient Rome. She said Vesta and Saturn are daughter and father. That's kind of funny because Venus and Saturn are daughter and father. I'm just looking at all this stuff. How Vesta turns up in your horoscope. Sometimes a man marries a woman and starts a family only to find that he has ended up surrounded by females, with daughters rather than sons. It also is common to find Vesta in a female-dominated profession like women's magazines, while a man publisher at the top, or in airlines where a male pilot flies a plane and female flight attendants outnumber him. This is the chart for Sir Richard Branson. He was born in Vesta. All right. So it's kind of implying that in your 12th house you might have a lot of presences of females. They're really doing a whole lot of stuff, but sometimes it's just too much information. Okay, we'll get rid of that one. retrograde zone. Okay. What about, okay, here we got Vesta. Vesta rules over a core sense of identity and independence, a kind of faithfulness to yourself that allows no compromise or selling out. You are focused and centered on yourself, able to tap into the great power of the self when you act out of truthfulness and integrity. I don't know why I keep seeing that, truthfulness and integrity. I keep seeing that. When Vesta is in reverse, when Vesta is in reverse, this fidelity to yourself is tested. Situations come up that force you to decide how much integrity really means to you and how much you'd rather slide through life. She teaches us to be beholden to nobody, to stand up and be responsible for ourselves, to demand the best of every experience. Vesta also teaches you, like in a past life, if you were too nice and got over, Vesta will teach you in this life to be harder. Because that's what they've been saying about your chart. Alright, so let me just see if I can do this again. Alright. Alright, because I don't want to be here all day. Vesta helps you anchor your fifth dimensional energies, balance your masculine and feminine energies, and purify and heal you, especially issues related to sexuality and the sexual energies. This will bring out your creative and help devote that creativity to your mission. Okay, so you just learned a little bit more about her. That was twinastrology.com. Alright, Vesta was alright, so let me just do this. In negative aspects, Vesta can influence the opposite behavior as well, such as sexual repression, fears, or the inability to share oneself with others and maintain close relationships. Similar challenges expressing these energies could result if she's retrograde. So again, in the 12th house, there may be problems such as sexual repression, fears, because the 12th house is about karma and endings, or the inability to share oneself with others. So that would be something you have to be worried, and that's what Virgo is there, trying to heal those possible fears. And they said the ability to concentrate on a specific task or goal is also influenced by Vesta's placement. Well, he has the same thing in his first house, the ability to focus more. The Latin word for hearth is focus. Alright, so now you know why, bro. Vesta can convert sexual energy to a solid commitment and dedication to one's work, and often operates in this fashion in those who dedicate themselves to spiritual or service-oriented quests, such as certain religious orders. But that's why you're in your 12th house to have some type of spiritual situation, and Vesta will help you with that. And she's going to help to make sure that if there is any like aggressive Scorpion energy, it has to be, she's going to try to purify it. All right, I think we handled enough of that. Just give me a moment. All right, so you definitely got vested in the 12th house. So. All right. So vested in the 12th house, this is the house of withdrawal. Paradoxically, you have to withdraw from withdrawing. Don't spend a long time on a religious retreat, for instance, or in a hospital. Just being in a place of restriction or withdrawal will tend to drain you. And your Vesta is in Virgo. Focus on details, good for any project requiring precision and attention to details. I don't know. I know this doctor. It's hard for me to pronounce the name. I'm not even going to try. But she changed the website. Because usually it will go right to the website. Now you got to click a button. Okay, so Pisces rules the 12th house. So I'm going to say her name now. She's on YouTube as well. I'm just going to spell it out. She's a Hindu doctor. Meaning she has a PhD. Dr. Baira. Avee. Balasubramanian. You might be able to separate those words or whatever, but I only had it as all one word. But if you type it in the YouTube, it should come up. Or you can type it into a search engine like Yahoo search, and it should come up. But now, since your Vesta is in the 12th house, which is ruled by Pisces, she says, in Pisces, Vesta retrograde basically asks you to surrender. Have faith in whatever it is we consider sacred and let go of what no longer works. We've been doing a lot of that within 3 years. This time is not so much about the hero or heroine epic journey into the underworld and back. It's more like the washing away of Piscean illusion, delusion, entrapment, and spiritual glamour. See, because you got your Neptune is direct, and then you have a Pisces. So sometimes Neptune will deceive you. So so your 12th house is really trying to clean all that up so you won't be deceived. She said, my take on this energy is to simply let it move through you. Keep no expectations of what must or ought be, especially in terms of your relationship with spirituality. You've got to chance right now to put an end to far older karmic patterns. Because that's what the 12th house is about, ending in karma. Contracts and past life decisions, lessons. There's a lot of dissolution going on, a lot of messages to come through. Endings and finality. Stay open. Be compassionate, especially if that means starting with you. Priestess and spiritual facilitators, that's what Vesta is, are born of wounds. Wounds, like when you wound yourself. We become ready to serve once we begin to learn how to work with them and in ways that will not harm others in the search for work. She said, be careful of Pisces energy because it's anything but rational. She said, make sure you take a rest too. She said if things are not flowing, don't try to force them. She said Vesta's powerful lesson, but I gotta find it. Alright. Give me a moment. Vesta's powerful lesson, to me at least, is about letting go of those wounds you have. So that's dealing with past wounds and Chiron wounds that started you on a spiritual journey. Alright. Give me a second. Alright, so I think we learned enough about Vesta. Alright, so that is your sign. We did a significant numerology. We found out what was going on with your retrogrades, which shows areas you need to work on. That would be karma. Learn more about Vesta, Virgo. These are healers trying to help you heal from past wounds. And also what you should be doing now as far as your personal goals are concerned. How to deal with oppressive authority. How you can deal with it in a wise way. And your relationship with which appears to be your twin soul. And how that'll go as well. So that will conclude this reading of this gentleman's natal chart. Anybody else is interested in any of these services, I perform any intuitive services. That includes numerology, name numerology, life purpose, natal charts, compatibility natal charts, and that can be done for any person, anything. Twin soul, twin flame natal charts. Your natal chart is your prophecy for life. We do card readings as well with the angel card readings, or for phone consultation. So like I said, anything of this caliber and thing, it is done. So you can contact me, and the information is in the description box. God bless.